Hello, Abraham. How are you? Welcome to Mystic Moons. Abraham, would you like a reading? If you have any questions that you would like to see about, let me know, Abraham. And if anybody here would like a reading, let me know. We can explore, I don't know, if you have a point of interest. Hello, Sandra. If you have a person of interest, if you're curious what's coming towards you in general, could be about love. If you have any questions about message from spirit, what do you need to know at this time? Hello, Shavely. Nice to meet you too. Hello. Yeah, we could take a look. Whatever you either have questions about or whatever you feel like you would need to know. Hello, King Scotty. Nice to meet you as well. Hello, Jennifer. How are you? Whether it's good morning, good evening, could it be good afternoon? I'm sure it's good afternoon somewhere. How am I? Well, I am drinking a very nice cup of tea. It's green tea with cashews that I grinded up and maple syrup. So I'm actually this is one of my favorite drinks. I don't know, it's very nice. It is. I swear, like cashews and Brazil nuts. I think those two nuts really make when you blend them up in with water. They make such a nice, I don't know, flavor to tea. Hello, Cubana biscuits or Cubina biscuits. I spent time in Miami, so it was probably just like a Freudian slip seeing the word Cubina and thinking Cuban. Ah, Cubana biscuit. Oh, that's so cute. What a cute name. That's really cute. And hello, Chiaka and Noob. Hello, everybody. Well, Sandra, yes, we are doing readings. I just would ask for a donation. If you have any personal questions that you would like to see, if you donate, I'll be more than happy to take a look and we can find out some answers, get some insight. And Sandra, if you want me to, I can definitely, Sandra, if you want to donate, we can find out if your boyfriend likes me, but I kind of hope that if he's already your boyfriend, he likes you, right? I mean, you should ask maybe does your boyfriend want to marry you, or will your boyfriend help you out with like every fiber of his resources? Will your boyfriend stand up for you against his friends and family? You know, will he champion you as his number one, right? Like I would think questions like that. You know, do you know your boyfriend from a past life? I don't know. Other than, does your boyfriend like you?
Of course he likes you.
I mean, if he's your boyfriend, he likes you, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't be your friend. He would be just some stranger on the street. There is. I am either through Cash App or Buy Me a Coffee. Take a look in the description. Buy Me a Coffee is like a PayPal or Venmo. It's like basically an e-commerce platform. You could just go in there, follow the link. They call it Buy Me a Coffee, but it's the same thing as Venmo or PayPal. And Buy Me a Coffee works everywhere, like all across the world. And Cash App is if you are in the US. Well, I am taking questions, Raymond. Hello, Raymond. How are you? I am taking questions for a donation. Definitely. We can find out anything you want to see. Sandra, you don't have any money. Well, Sandra, that's why I do all the collective readings. I do so many collective readings. Like I do them regularly too. I do collective readings by your zodiac sign. It doesn't necessarily have to be your sun sign. You could look up your Venus sign. You could look up your 7th house sign if you're curious about love. I would almost say too, if you're curious about work, you could check out your 6th house sign as well. If you feel someone's watching you, think about your 8th house and 12th house signs. And then I do have readings as well, like who's watching me and things like that. Well, you know, I don't know if I call myself necessarily a mind reader. I feel things really intensely, Sandra. And then I see things as well. If you want to call that a mind reader, I suppose you can. I also think all of us, personally, Sandra, I believe that all of us as humans, we all have unique gifts, and we all have unique gifts in the sixth dimension, outside of our five senses. I believe that we all have unique gifts and unique ways that expresses itself in the 6th dimension. And I also believe, I mean, and my whole thing that I'm really for is like to help trigger people into discovering and working, you know, getting higher into that 6th sense, into your third eye energy. Hello, Isabel. If you'd like to know, well, put a little donation in. You can look at, well, put a donation in. I have 4 cats. They go through a lot of litter. I need cat food too. They eat a lot. So not like a little donation, because I do have my kitties. But yeah, if you give a donation, you can look in the description. You can either do Buy Me a Coffee or Cash App. And Carlos, if you'd like a reading, definitely. Or if you'd like to donate for a reading, I'd be more than happy. Again, details are in the description. And likewise, if you just want to, I don't know, feel out the channel, there's plenty of content that's out. I think I got something. There's plenty of content that's out. And you can look through either, one moment. I see that something came in. You can look through either, like by your zodiac sign, or if you want to go and check out some other, you know, there's celebrities, there's news, things like that. I'll be back in 1 minute. I think I just got something coming through. Let me go and see what it is. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I got something from Jacob. Is that you? Cub? Ah. Hi, Cub. Send it 2 more times for what you said, and we'll go and find out what. If you want to find out about romantic stuff, we'll take a deep look. Send it 2 more times, Cub and a Biscuit. 2 more times, and I'll get some answers for you. Go and dig into what is around you for romantic. What's around you in romance in general? Chiaka, you can find out. I would go to one of those, like type in free natal chart, and there's a couple of sites that pop up. I think one is like Cafe Astro or something. I don't really remember the URLs because you can just type it in. But yeah, just type in free natal chart, put in your birth date. If you know your birth, you can put that in, put in your location. Let me go and check. I'll be back in 1 minute, 1 more minute. Okay, yes, cool. Is someone whispering? I don't think so. I do have the radio on. Actually, I have 2 radios on. Well, I'm in like a space where the door is all open, probably hearing the radio by the door. And then there's another thing in the kitchen. Oh, yes, cats are always meowing. If you listen to a Mystic Moons reading, I promise you will hear cats meowing. Anyway, all right, Cub and a Biscuit. Tell me one more time question. Write it down, and we're going to take a look. Yeah, write down, Cub. Write down your question one more time, and then we'll start. Use these. The next one to ask, one moment then. There was another. Okay, I'll be back in 1 minute. Let me just go and check. Okay, well, first let me go and get Cub. If there's anything surrounding romance or other relationships, I'm going to go and take a look. And then I'll go and see who comes after Cub. And we'll check you out, Chiaka, if you're the next one. But let me go first into Cub and Cub's question of if there's anything surrounding romance or other relationships. What is in Cub's energy? In fact, Cub, I'm going to go and pull. I'm going to do this a little differently for you. I'm going to see what is currently around you. And we'll also just take, at the same time, I'm going to see what's coming at you. Okay, we'll do this. Do this twice. This is what's coming for you, around you, your energy, and this one is what is already happening. Already happening, I have King of Pentacles with the Moon. We'll dive into this, but basically what I'm first seeing for the environment, Cub, there are decisions definitely where you'd like to go and take. Oh, very interesting. Cub, I do wonder if there is anyone on your mind here with this bottom of the deck energy. Moon tells me, Moon with Ace of Swords tells me that your emotions and what you want, you have a pretty clear idea of it. That's why I wonder if there's anyone particularly that you have in mind with Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck energy. I would say if you don't, then you have a really clear idea of who, like the type you want. And that's something that you've been working towards finding and or working towards, I don't know, developing a relationship with someone who's already piqued your interest as, I don't know, you feel really deeply about. So either, I wonder if there's someone in your head or like, currently you have your eye on, or you know exactly the type you want. That's what I'm seeing, first of all, in terms of your existing, situation. I will say as well, for what's coming at you, I have the Star, and that Star bottom of the deck energy has Knight of Cups. So, and with the bottom of the deck energy being Knight of Cups, Knight of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, this is a whole lot of couple things. Longing, and also, again, I get that really deliberate energy of who and what you want. You're pretty clear on that. And well, I feel like here, okay, so one of the things that I'm picking up here, you're clear on, let's say, definitely the type that you want. And I feel like with the Star that's coming, the type of love you want in your overall energy is coming. First, I'm going to go and just take a little look into what's coming around you, but this is just starting off the basics of, what's going on. Oh, wait, actually, I wanted to go and fold those cards back. Those cards I read, one moment. Maybe I'll just shuffle this way. Okay, so a lot of bad history and you shouldn't want them. Well, I'm going to go and just then go lightly into this energy, and then we'll go and take a deeper look into your environment and what's coming. But right now, the situation of what you currently have, those cards all want to pop up. Strong Aquarius energy you have here too. Also, too, very deliberate energy, I would say, with Aquarius energy. Doesn't necessarily have to be the placements, could just be a very clear idea of, again, who and what you want. Razor sharp. So I have a King of Pentacles. That's basically what you said. A King of Pentacles clarified by a Page of Pentacles, Eight of Cups, and Nine of Swords. Well, first of all, it's a lot of effort for you to disengage yourself from, it feels like, the natural inclinations of wanting to be, like, you're already in. Let me take a step back. King of Pentacles is very interesting to me in general. like it could have the overtones of earth signs, but more than that, what I get from King of Pentacles, like 80% of the time, is this is someone who's either in committed energy or wants to commit, is ready to commit, is ready to really open up and share, and they want that firm bond. With this energy, it's almost like going again, like you're already in committed energy, but you do have a focus on who you're committed to. You do have a focus on who you're committed to, and it's tearing you up about it. You know, it's like you want to go and move on, but I will say as well, of the court suites, the pentacles and the cups overall, like they're the type that once they get attached, once there's love, once there's commitment, once there's care, once there's nurturing, you know, it's like very sticky. It's hard for them to disengage from even what they know doesn't exactly serve where they'd want to be. As let's say the court cards of like you know, swords and fire. I'm going to look a little deeper into this. For your current, let's see. I have Page of Wands. I'm not going to bother clarifying these. Actually, you know what? I will clarify the Page of Pentacles a little bit. Page of Pentacles gets 6 of Wands. Now, this is just basically all that you have to give. And that's all that it is just showing your willingness and openness to truly commit and share, and also move forward in the best manner. That's what I have here with Page of Pentacles. Just waiting for the opportunity. You know, you're in general. You should know, first of all, Cub, in general, you are energetically in the vibration of commitment. And yeah, I'm not going to touch these per se, because this pretty much says what you mentioned. There's someone that you want, but you know you shouldn't want them. This is you going off to find other directions. Also, too, still having lingering feelings, whether going forward or moving fast. You know, those are not really, you know, I don't have to go and talk about your current state per se. I'm looking at how things will develop. How things will develop around you, what's coming towards you. That's what I'm looking at. Page of Wands. Page of Wands, I have the Star card here again. Star card popped up. Oh, okay, interesting. And then our Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so a couple things, Jacob. And I think it's interesting that the Star card popped up when I had the Star here for what's coming at you, around you, in your environment for love. This is just like another appearance of that. Under a Page of Wands. Under a Page of Wands, we have whatever this is called, Star. Another Knight, a Knight of Wands, and a Queen of Swords. A couple things. One, I would say, Cub, when you said that there's someone who you want, but you know you shouldn't want them, the Star energy here, as I said, this is what's in your environment. So think about it, right? They already said in physics that the reality that we see in front of us is a simulation. Just the fact that we have our five senses, we feel things as solid, but are they really solid? It's just the density of how the atoms are packed. How dense are the atoms packed? That forms weight, and therefore, like, that's why we can go through like air, but for instance, we can't go through the table, right? And in that vibrating matter of atoms, that some are put together more denser than others, we have our intentions, right? We have vibrations of our energy, vibrations of our voice, vibrations of our thought, vibrations of our we're electrical beings, of how we vibrate and generate. We're not just generating heat. We're not just generating noise. We're not just generating smells, right? Or generate like all the things that you could naturally generate. And what I get here is that you very intensely, Cub, you're generating love, and that love is actually pretty not long to arrive with those knights that I have, even Knight of Wands, Queen of Swords. So think very judiciously on the wish of the partner that you want to create. Because here's the thing. I feel like in this energy, Cub, if you have been wishing for that one particular person, she's not going away. It's like something that you're going to keep on working at, and it will continue. There's lots of I would say there is mutual feelings here. This could work out with that person because she's also in Queen of Pentacles energy. She's also committed. And it's like if you spent the time, it's a slow process, but you could work things out and have her again, or have her in romantic energy, romantic and committed energy that I have here. And regardless if that's healthy or not, as I said, I'm not going to pull the 8 of Cups and the 9 of Swords. I don't think that's relevant right now. I'll look into the other one. But what I have right here is that if you keep on wishing for that one specific person, she's going to come back. She could come back with her own set of stipulations of what exactly she expects from you and move forward. I will also say in this energy, just as fluidly, if you really want new, you need to think of new and not of that past person. Okay, so that's like really important. No, everyone says this, right? The quality of your thoughts affects your future. What you think, you realize. What you work towards, you realize. But with that Star card, Page of Wands, something's coming in for you fast. But at the same time, if you're wishing for a very specific type of person, that very specific person is going to come. Likewise, if you're wishing for a type of person who matches and complements what you want, that type will come. But you do have a high chance of that person coming back or working things out if you continue to vibrate towards that person as your should I say as your ideal. Okay, so think about that. First of all, that's what's currently in your energy. Currently in your energy, what I'm seeing, there's a high possibility of the people who are currently around you, they're not going away. And if you're willing to put in the time and the energy, you could go and have them in romantic energy. But I will say too, 8 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, that's long energy as well. I don't know how you feel, how patient you are. I mean, I'm someone that I like things like immediate. If it's not immediate, then get away. But that's a lot of energy and a lot of time. Six of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. I'm not going to touch that, but that's long. Okay. Now for the Star. I have Emperor. This is what's coming at you, Cub. Nine of Wands. Nine of Pentacles. Two of Wands, bottom of the deck energy. You definitely have strong air as an element in there. If that's not your element, then I would say this person that's coming could have notable air. Me, it could be Aquarius, but you just have notable air overall. I have Emperor, Nine of Wands, and maybe I should have said signs for that other one, but well, as I said, that was basically what's around you. This is what's coming. Emperor, Nine of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, clarifying the Star. So I'm going to take a little closer look, but you do have something coming. As I said, you have a wish coming in. You do have a wish coming in. You need to be really deliberate, Cub, on what that wish is. Like super deliberate. I'm also going to say, Cub, in this energy, whatever you wish for, you're going to get. Also, too, Cub, whatever you're wishing for committed love, I would say, in that King of Pentacles, you don't have to wait that long. All those nights that were coming up, and also, too, Nine of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, it's like you're right. You just a little bit of time, a little bit more, and you're going to have a partnership. There's like a little bit of delay. And I would also say too, in the energy that I have here, the reason why there's a little bit of delay here is probably because you yourself are vacillating between, do you want that person who you already know, or are you open to seeing who the universe sends into you, a person who will vibrate or connect to your energy? I don't know. I'm not saying, like, for instance, you need to completely cut someone else off to meet someone new or anything like that. What I am saying, though, is that I'm getting very strong ties. And I think if you take those strong ties from a person to an archetype, right? Like, the good qualities that you want. You can take the good qualities from the people you know and think about, I like these types, but I'd also like these additional qualities as well. Someone who has, let's say, the gaps that person had according to you. Who do you want? Like, a new person, right? Yes. Oh, no, you don't have to wait a long time. I'm seeing that you already waited a long time, Cub. I'm saying that you've already waited a long time, in my opinion, that I have here. But I'm saying that if you work, here's the thing. I'm saying with it Six of Swords and Eight of Pentacles energy from before, if you work things out with that person who you have in mind, I don't see whatever issues you have being solved in 2 weeks. I see that you can work things out if you want with that person, but it's going to take, maybe it'll take the whole year, maybe it'll take 8 months, maybe it'll take 6 months, maybe it'll take 4 months. I don't know, but it's going to take time. If you continue to yearn and wish and hope on a person you already know, in a person who you know there's friction. Six of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. It's going to take time for you to rebuild or build a solid relationship. That's what I'm saying. If you deal with a person who you're already there, who you already have in mind, that person with a name and the face, and they have a social security number, right? A very definite person, very specific person. Their fingerprints are like unique, right? Like a snowflake. A very unique, specific person. But I feel like what I'm saying overall for love, you don't have to wait long for the love. It's almost there. But if you deal with that other person in order for, and I'm not saying for that person to contact you, I think that person will contact you, but it's like for you to get to a place that's good for you, good for both of you, that's what I feel is going to take time. Yes, Libra is an air sign. Right, and that's what I'm saying. With, like, you can do it. And I'd also say in this energy of star, if you don't let go of that person being the Pacific type that you want, or excuse me, that Pacific person being what you want. If you keep yearning for that Pacific person is going to come to you or going to be available to you in what you've been building, what you've been wishing for, what you've been building. I hate the word manifesting because I think it's been overused. But we could just say, because my mind is a little slow, what you've been creating. But yeah, I feel like first of all, if you continue yearning for that one specific person, you're going to get her back. But it's going to take a long time for you guys, whatever a long time would be for you. As I said, Six of Swords, Eight of Pentacles feels really long to me. So whatever long would be for you. It's going to take a lot to get back to a stable, comfortable, trusting place. Anyway, the star, I feel, as I said, think about again, be very careful, very, very judicious about who and what you want in love, who and what you want for as a partner. If you want a type, like who would be your ideal person without having a name on it. Like maybe they could even have the first name, the letter would be the same, right? That could be part of your ideal person, but just as long as it's not that specific person that has a specific social security number and has very unique fingerprints, right? Like everything about them is very specific, what they like to eat or how they eat, whatever, right? However, somebody can be the specifications about one particular unique person. Okay, so Emperor, Nine of Wands, Nine of Pentacles. Let's see. You don't have to wait that much longer in terms of love in general. Committed love, I'm going to say in general. I'm going to take a look at Emperor. Emperor gets Page of Wands. Knight of Pentacles. No, you already did your waiting. Seriously, you already did your waiting, Cub. I have another 9 that popped up as well. And you're right at the crossroads as well. I'm going to say that rest assured, if you are wishing for, start now, definitely only thinking if you only want a new person, that person is going to switch your trajectory over entirely to a new spot. Emperor, clarified by a Page of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, another 9. Knight of Pentacles with Page of Wands is interesting. As I said, again, you've already done your waiting. Something is just about to come. I'm also going to say in this energy, I'm going to clarify the other two before I take another look. But, well, first of all, it's going to be a lot faster if you deal with the new person. I'm not getting any slow energy in terms of progression. It's like progression at a very comfortable speed for both of you, but nothing drawn out, nothing. It's not going to take a long time to start building a foundation for life. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands, I have Six of Cups. Yeah, you need to let you definitely need to, if you want, as I said, this other person's energy is very much in there. Oh, I see I have Ace of Pentacles in here. Ace of Pentacles slipped out. You are right on the border of whether you continue dealing with this new person or you take the old one back, Cub. If you deal with a new person, that new person is going to put you into an entirely different spot. You're right at the crossroads here. I also will say Six of Cups, Seven of Swords. Who has the yearning? Maybe it could be both of you, but don't mean to sound insensitive about this, but if you want the new, you kind of need to cut off the longing. And I would say part of cutting off the longing would be maybe it's on her end as well, Cub. In this energy could be on her end as well. Or I could be pulling up on her energy. Somebody is talking about the other, watching the other, thinking about the other, dreaming of the other. There's yearning here. That yearning is also, kind of, as I said, things are going to come to a head either way. I'm not going to say that this is blocking love for you in general. It's just whether you're moving on to a fresh start. If you are not the one following up on her and watching her, things like that, talking about her, then with the Seven of Swords energy, I would say that's her towards you. This is yearning and watching. Yearning and planning, yearning and thinking, yearning and strategizing. Ace of Pentacles here, Ace of Pentacles and Eight of Wands. I feel like as soon as I said, even if you just, let's say if you are not seeing or talking about her, the moment you start putting in more and more distance is the faster things will progress. Okay, so this is just basically your past situations. And the advice that I have here with past situations is allow them to remain in the past and don't feed them. And if you stopped feeding them, they are still, they are following you. But then that has nothing to do with you, right? Nothing to do with you. It's just a note in the energy that's here. Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. I have Six of Swords. I have the Sun. Yeah, you don't have to wait very long, Jacob. But you do very much have to, again, be intent about who and what you want. Somebody's coming. Is it the old person? Is it the new person? It's seesawing. Nine of Pentacles, clarified by a Six of Swords, the Sun and the Magician. This is seesawing for you, Jacob. Oh, excuse me, Cub. This is seesawing. Six of Swords, the Sun, Magician. You know, you're moving to a clearing one way or the other. And also, too, Sun and Magician. This is pretty, again, you know, I have strong overall, like faith and commitment does here. Whatever you get involved in, it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be firm. It's also going to definitely, well, it's someone who you're going to see or want to be with as a life partner. Sun, Magician, Emperor, Knight of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. Anyway, your energy, what's coming towards you in love, you do have love coming towards you. Is it like you're going to have a chance of meeting someone new and the other person coming up? I'm not quite seeing that. I'm seeing whatever your intentions are because it's so focused, Cub. The energy that I'm getting is so focused on what you are building. Like, think about it this way, Cub. If you could go out anywhere, but you choose to go out to a lake, like you're going to, you know, see the lake, right? You're not going to go and see the ocean. You're not going to go and see Walmart. You're not going to see, I don't know, whatever would not be at a lake. But you get the idea, right? You're going to see very Pacific lake-like things. And what I'm getting here with a star is very intent energy that you are going on the path to a lake. You are going to see lake-like things. Are there other things coming towards you? There could be, but what I'm getting primarily from your energy is that you are pulling love towards you. And I feel it can seesaw between that person that you dealt with, or it can seesaw through an entirely different one. I don't think you're going to have a choice of choosing eeny, meeny, miny, mo necessarily. And as I said, especially if you deal with that person that you had before, Six of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, that's going to take like all your time. It's also very consuming energy, long energy and consuming energy. But I have strong commitment here. And I do see love coming. You know what I can do as well? I'm not going to bother the Nine of Wands because the Nine of Wands is Nine of Wands. Just a little bit for you, Cub. I'm going to take one little peek. I'm going to throw one more card on a few more things. I'm going to take a look at Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups gets the Chariot, the Sun. It gets Five of Swords. And the Magician gets Four of Swords. You have to be careful if you feel that other person is someone you shouldn't deal with anymore, Cub. You need to definitely cut that out. Even the Sun with Five of Swords, what you really want, it's also like taking risks. As that person's energy feeding in here, that person's energy is strong overall. Not overpowering, but definitely I'd say like 60 to 70%. Strong energy. There's ties here. Magician with Four of Swords. As I said, they're ties, but you can still swing it. Swing it, swing it, swing it. The Sun also gets Two of Cups. The Empress. Well, I'm not doing a long draw. I mean, even though it looks like I'm drawing out, I'm just looking at a specific issue. I will say, Cub, that I am seeing also here marriage. Anyway, yeah, Cub, that's what I see here for you. I think that's the main thing that you and your energy for what you have is be very deliberate about who you want. Who you want. And if you want a new person, you need to go and entirely focus on that new person because there's deep ties with that other person. And that other person, as I mentioned, you can bring that other person back. But that other person to iron things out is going to take a lot of time. In terms of your energy, I feel like for what is coming at you, your energy is so magnified that, as I said, it's like if you decided you're going to a lake, I'm getting lake vibe. Okay. I could have sworn I had my tea somewhere. Anyway, I'll be back in 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay. Oh, well, I'm glad, Cub. I mean, I definitely felt your energy. I definitely, as I said, I feel that other person's energy in there too. And overall, in terms of love for you, I feel like some pretty big changes, some crossroad type changes are coming for you. I do feel, as I said, I feel like before you've been waiting and you've been sort of in a phase for a really long time, a long enough time. And I feel you have just a little bit of time left over, not a long amount of time at all, no. Like you're right at the, it's almost like not quite 10 of Wands energy, but I feel like where you're at is just one more step. And it feels like, to me, like how I'm feeling it, think about if you were walking down a staircase, not up a staircase, but let's say you were walking down a staircase and then you finally, and the staircase is narrow, the staircase is dark, the stairs could be like a little high up or something like that. And then you're walking down the staircase and you're like 2 or 3 steps before you reach the concrete with the rug on it and you're about to go outside into the light. It has that sort of feeling, like not like you've been climbing uphill, but it feels like you've been progressively walking down. And as you've been walking down, you've been, like regaining your breath. You've been shedding things that you don't need. And you're preparing to go out again into the light. Right. So if you're not the one like following up and things like, maybe I'm not quite using the nicest words. I don't quite to me to be so harsh as saying following up, but with that 7 of Swords energy, 7 of Swords is strategy. 7 of Swords is definitely, that's a stalkerish watching. The 7 of Swords is harvesting information, creating plans and things like that where you don't want the other party to know. And it's also kind of like a little giddy energy too. 7 of Swords, whenever I get 7 of Swords has that little giddiness, like, hoo-hoo, like, I'm so whatever, I'm, being super sleuth or something. And if that's not your energy, then someone is around you. It could be her. It could be her there. Like, for instance, if you have mutual people that you know about, it could be a regular topic where she's talking about you in an offhand manner. Oh, do you know how blah, blah is doing? Or something like that. If you are posting to social media, or if you guys have a mutual contact that knows, that sees your social media, things like that. You have very strong air energy overall. I would also wonder as well with them, do they have any strong Aquarian placements? This is strong Aquarius. I didn't really go through signs because I didn't feel that was necessary. There is, like for instance, with the appearances of the Emperor, the Empress, the Sun. I mean, I could say that for astrological signs, but I also felt more than anything, the Emperor, the Empress, the Sun, the Star was really about male and female energies, and also the energies of commitment, like when you're coming together to form a partnership, when you're coming together to also, like when things align, the left leg and the right hand and the left hand, it felt more like alignment to me than being specifically. Well, yeah, I mean, if you have another question, we could take a look into the Seven of Swords, but I think the Seven of Swords is really just, if that's not your energy, that's just background noise. I mean, essentially, right? Like, it's just a background noise that is around, and a message that the spirits just decide to go and share, that with the Nine of Wands, someone has been watching, someone has been planning, someone has been yearning, someone has been watching. As I said, it's a seven of Swords, Six of Cups. Also, too, it's like the person can't be actively possessive, is well, they still have the chains of possessiveness. But yes, that's what I have. So yeah, let me know, Cub, if you have another question. But thank you very much for joining me on this, or allowing me to take a look and seeing what is going on around you. And as I said, definitely think about your own intentions, and anyone who specifically that you're yearning about, if you yearn for them, you are actually drawing them in with that star energy. If you want completely new, likewise, focus your energy on the future and completely new, because you are, as I said, the energy I get overall from your reading, coming down from a staircase, a tall staircase that's kind of in the shade, kind of in the dark, like, maybe 40% shade. And as you walk down each step, it's like a period of healing that's going by, and you're like right in the last 2 or 3 steps before your foot hits stable ground. Okay, one moment. Well, for the Seven of Swords, if you think you'd like to take a little into that, I can pull one card on it. And I'll pull one of these oracle cards on it. So Let's see. Seven of Swords. It looks like your ex. Oh, your ex is in horrible energy. Your ex is miserable. Could be her prospects as well are not looking so hot. Could also be that her own situation as well. She's taking some financial hits, some hits in her comfort and stability. But more of over than that, her actual heart is broken. That's what I have here. She's very sad. And I do think it is your ex. It's really sad. Oh, we're gonna have to do this. Oh, that's sad for her. Sad for anyone. But yeah. The complicated jungle of human emotions, right? And then where we are in our own stages of maturity, what we can properly give, and what we realize that we've had, and how we treat it, how we value it when we have it, as opposed to when then where we're just not at the same stage of maturity as the other and realize certain things too late. No, not at all. In fact, if anything, Cub, what I would say is that I personally believe that we have, like, I know that some people say that there are karmics and some people say that you have like one soulmate. And I kind of feel things differently. I think that as we have, I mean, you know, how our lifespan and the dimensions that we interact with and have interacted with, and if you want to go into like even thinking about past life and future lives and current life and, you know, all those sorts of things, time is a construct, blah blah blah. I think that we have multiple soulmates, multiple people that we've connected to in the past life, multiple links, strong links that we have discovered, you know, for some of us that we have yet to discover, we will discover, and also that we can create. I believe that we can create new soulmate connections that we never had any connection with before in our current life, in our current situation. So for that, you know, I actually do think that each connection is authentic. But I think the reason why they don't pan out again comes down to maturity of that person and like your maturity and their maturity, their background and what they were raised with, what they want, and things like that, as opposed to your background, how you were raised with, and what you want. I think all those things, like, you know, play into factors with people who we, I don't know, as I said, broken soulmate. So in the fact of, you know, you feel bad and feel like she deserves to feel bad. Well, you know, you do bad, right? That's like a fact. Just because there is love there doesn't mean it negates the quality, the pain. So I don't think it's bad because, as I said, you guys do have an authentic connection. But I don't think it's just a connection. As I said, I don't think soulmate connections are just like one specific person. That's just my belief. And from what I've seen pulling the cards, and also too what I felt. And I say that as someone who, one year I met 3 people who I swear I had really strong soulmate, and regardless if it's like, romantic love, platonic love, whatever. But I met 3 people who I swear I had soulmate connections to, and they were 2 guys and a lady who was in her 80s. They were definitely soulmates of mine. We connected, but at the same point, like all 3 of the relationships were like, in one way, I don't know, not there. The 80-year-old woman, I really wanted to study with her. And she gave me a whole bunch of information, but she was giving me information basically to be the vanguard for championing a cause that she wasn't confident of doing herself. So I think also too, with those connections that you feel, as I said, your emotional level, their emotional level, what they want out of it, what you want out of it. If just because there's an emotional connection, there's a soul tie, there's a soulmate connection, doesn't mean that they're going to treat you or judge you or want to use you or be with you in the best light. Some of them want something very specific from you. Well, Cub, I believe that, that comes down to you, right? I'm just telling you what I feel and from what I see. But all I know is that, Cub, your energy is really strong. And whatever you desire, that's going to crystallize for you soon enough, really soon. I say soon enough. And also, too, again, if you, that is obviously, the ex is obviously the one watching you. But again, as I said, I feel like, again, soulmate is not one singular entity, like a one shot chance. And then if you miss out on your soulmate, or your soulmate says, oh, I've learned blah, 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 and you come back, like, you're supposed to take them back. As I said, I very, very much believe we have multiple people that are in soulmate energy to us. And it just comes down to your maturity level, their maturity level, and the respect that's there. And again, I believe that we not only do we have soulmates from before, soulmate links, I also believe that, right now we can go and meet people and form new soulmate connections that will carry on into the other forms that our spirit will take, whether it's in another life or another galaxy or what have you, right? We're still figuring that out. Well, Sachin, if you want, you can go and leave a donation, do a donation, and we can find out. I do have a donation from, what is the name? Chiaka. And I saw that your donation on Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you. Chiaka, I would need a little bit more, though, if you want to go and see what's there. Otherwise, it would be a rather small one. If you could do that, like a few more times. Hello, Izzy. No, thank you, Cub. Cub, if you have any other questions, feel free to come by and we can take a look and see what, as I said, what is currently in your energy. If you have any specific questions, definitely come by and we can take a look at what's going on. But sending you the very best. You do have love on your way, Cub. It's just coming down to choices and for you to be really intentional. Best of luck. And hello, Izzy. So, Chiaka, let me know if you are here. I can draw one card for you, but if you would like to have a little more detail to your question, then it would be nice if you can donate a little bit more. And the same thing, if anyone else has questions, could be on love, could be on a person of interest who you already have on your mind. Could also be just doesn't have to be on love. Could be a person who you work with, whatever, right? Someone who you know. We can go and see their energy. If it's someone who you're curious what's coming towards you, either in love, could also be in work. If you want to go and see a general message of what the spirit, what the environment, what the ether has for you to know right now, we could take a look at that. If you want to see how things will progress in the short term, we could take a look at that, how things will progress in general over the long term. We can take a look at all those. So Thachan, I would love to find out for you, but for a personal reading, I would need a donation. Otherwise, then I do invite you to look at the content I have on my channel. I do lots of readings for the collective. And you can check them out by your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign. If it's about love, check out your Venus sign and your 7th house sign. If you're curious about what's coming towards you, but you don't know, you could also take a look at your 12th house and 8th house energies, right? I do get messages on the readings that I do on, like, some are love, some are just general life readings, some are work. Some are sort of like a blend, which I also consider those to be primarily life readings or general readings. Just steps your life is taking. You could also take that if you're curious about maybe your work and your 6th house energy or the house of communication. Yeah, think about it. What's in your Mercury? Yes. Thank you, Cub. Yes, I mean, there are those collective readings that are there. There's also the astrological notes, and those I just pull for whatever comes out. And again, you can base it on one of your primary energies, what you feel are most strongest within you. Some people feel a couple energies strong within them. Some people are like pretty much all one sign, or maybe they're like all one sign, but they're wrapped up in another sign. They have that cusp energy. I leave that all up to you, but there's many collective readings that I put out there. And I would say too, in the timing is a fluid thing. So there's also collective readings that I do without any sign. And those are the aware and beware sections. If you feel called to it, go for what you feel called for if you'd like to take a look at the collective readings. But yes, if anybody would like a personal reading, all I ask for is a donation and we will take a look for you. Okay, thank you, Cub. You too. Thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you again. Let me come by and say hi. Have a good night. You too. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, beautiful, Cub. Yes, as I said, take a look at some of the readings if you feel called to. There's a bunch of stuff, out, and more stuff to come. I'm not quite sure what TK means, Thachan, but thank you for calling me master. That's very flattering. Very interesting. I do believe that I'm just, I don't know. I wouldn't call myself a master because I learn every day. Every day I want to become better. Every day I'd like to become more open. So I don't know quite if, I mean, when you're a master of something, you know how to do something perfectly, right? And I do think ultimately, can anything really be done perfectly? Can you, I mean, you could definitely reach a stage, and that stage you're crystallized, but in the overall scope of anything, even if it's something as simple as baking or your education or running, writing poetry, is there anything where you could really say that you are a master? You've just simply reached a stage and there's another stage yet to go. There's more to try. No, I'm not an Aquarius. Actually, my Aquarius energy is very, very insignificant in my chart, but I am surrounded by lots of Aquariuses myself. But no, I'm not an Aquarius. Good night. I have very insignificant Aquarius energy. Anyway, definitely have a good night, Cub. And Thachan, if you want one card, well, again, I would need a donation, some kind of donation for a personal pull. And Thachan, I would say, look at all the readings that I do. I do lots of collective readings, and I do them because they benefit more than one person. I'm also open, Thachan, too. You can think of this as well. If somebody donates $30, which is basically the price where I am around for a deck, with tax and everything like that, it comes out to $30 because there's a state tax, a county tax, there's a town tax. Like they tax everybody in the US. And they tax everybody. I'm in New York. They tax everybody for everything in New York. But if somebody donates $30, what I'll do is I'll do basically 3 card pulls or 2 card pulls for, let's say, everybody within an hour. Like my whole thing is, I like to go and share what I have, but I want it to be shared with a larger group. And if other people have the same ideas that, I'm open to partnering with them on that. So you can also think about that way. If you would like to donate $30 and $30 only for, I mean, of course, I'll do like a 3-card. I'll do it in the same format as my shorts. I'll do a reading for you, but I'll also do readings for whatever collective comes in. You know, I like to, as I said, I like to share. And I like people who like to share too. And Chiaka, are you still around? I will remember your username, Chiaka, if I don't see you. I guess she went away. Well, I'm not going to pull on anything for Chiaka because I don't know what her question is. And I suppose it's for the best, since then I'd have to timestamp it. And I've been a little lazy with timestamping and tags and descriptions. My earlier videos all had that, but my current ones are like, I have a phone, I have the cards, you can hear my voice. I consider all that good to go. Anyway, yes, if anybody would like a personal reading they'd like to donate for, also do think, as I said, if you would like to spot a donation to the general community. As I said, the 30 would be enough for a new deck. And I would celebrate that with readings for the collective. This is a semi-new deck. This deck was, someone gave this deck to me. It's a 40-year-old deck. This deck is from the 80s. In fact, I could think, is there, yeah, even right here. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. You can see a little bit of me in there, I noticed. But basically, this is like 1986. Is there a light? Well, anyway, this is 1986. It's an old deck. Something from the 80s. I think that's really unique. And the fact that whoever used it, they used it just barely. How exciting to break in a deck. Of course, I say break in, but I have some decks that are pretty used up. Well, I don't consider them used up, but they're pretty worn. But yeah, I'm a little excited about using this deck and still, you know, adding a little bit more seasoning to it. But yes, if anyone has a reading, a question rather, do let me know. I'm not really going to do any general readings. There was something I can go and recommend you guys check out, and that was a live that was done before this. Very interesting on fires, spirits, and pedophilia. It's some investigation around the Palisades fire. Some things that were heard, some questions that were had. I definitely recommend if you want to take a look at that. There are about 3 or 4 readings on that one. A little different subject than love and life, but very interesting in terms of what is the reality, what is the true reality that we're in, and also too, how exactly are they trying to guide what's there? For instance, have you guys heard of CERN? CERN is a massive collaboration between, I do think it's a private lab. There are private labs involved. There are academic labs involved. There could be a government lab. I'm not really entirely all up on my CERN network, like, who's exactly part of it. It's been a while since I paid attention to those specifics. But for instance, there is like a portion. The whole thing about CERN is that they have set up facilities that basically go all around the globe. They literally have structured them like dominoes. And the whole idea is that they're trying to basically, well, first discover the Higgs boson particle, right? The God particle. The Higgs boson particle that has been theorized but not actually isolated. And the whole idea is that, again, it's a God particle, it's the smallest particle, it's a spark of life. And the whole idea is that if you break down surrounding matter to its basic form, its most complete form, well, then you end up with the very first element of life, of reality. Again, the God particle. You can go and look that up. Anyway, the point is, they basically smash items. They do smash items. They smash atoms. They smash particles. And as they go through it, like one lab will do like a sequence, and then they'll time that sequence with another lab and another lab and another lab. So the whole idea that they're trying to create manageable black holes, among other things, right? There is a lab in New York, a participating facility. Maybe there are other ones in New York. I don't really know. As I said, it's been a while since I paid attention to those specifics, but I have seen one of them. Anyway, my point is, CERN recently said they discovered magic. Isn't that interesting? They discovered magic. Now they say that they've actually found magic, something that they've done to create magic. And one has to ask, well, what is magic? What are they terming magic? What have they discovered that they're actually terming using the already existing noun or verb of magic? Also, too, how general. That's very general. They could narrow the phrase or the word magic down into something a little bit more concrete, but no, they call it, we've discovered magic. They discovered magic as they've been for, how long has CERN been around? I think 10 years. Has CERN been around, or longer? Has CERN been around since 2000, maybe 20 years? The facility that I saw was a while ago. And that facility was already a little old too. They were definitely, like, they always constantly add on to it, right? Fix their things, their research stations and things like that. but I know the facility I saw itself had probably been around since like the 60s or the 70s, and it was like officially part of CERN. I want to say like early 2000s. I don't think even like 2010ish. I think in the early 2000s. They're saying, oh, it's a good idea to create mini black holes. Anyway, my point is go and check out the live that's there. Do you think it's a good idea for a bunch of scientists to create mini black holes? It's funny too, because all the science community always talks about how the only organization that has the ability to do space travel and space exploration well, the only government is China. And all the other countries, they need to go and partner up with other countries in order to go and create a mass effort to do space exploration and things like that. Like the Mars rover, for instance. Of course, I don't really know how Elon Musk and his SpaceX plans plays into that. I haven't taken a quite look into that. But the fact that everyone does like to go and say, oh, for engineering dollars per dollar, the Chinese government is the only one that can go and fund space travel 100% independently with no ties or obligations to private companies, other entities. It can be solely funded and managed by the government. And no other country in the world, at least right now, has that capacity. I had a point. What was my point? Oh, yeah. So going back to CERN. So it's funny that for like eons, they say that the only entity that's capable of basically exploring new ground is China. I mean, that's exactly what space travel is too. Right, new ground. But somehow with CERN, they're like, we're bypassing literal space and we're just going to create doorways or black holes or whatever you want to call black holes. They're like, we're not going to bother with the Chinese government or compete with the Chinese government being able to literally fund concrete expeditions and research about our galaxy, the galaxies, all the galaxies. But we're going to go and explore the particles that make up our reality. And we're going to try and break them, separate them, and again, create black holes. And in doing that, you have to wonder too, and I say this as well as someone who's been around lots of scientists and lots of facilities and been aware of their funding cycles and how they treat their research and how much they actually share of their progress of research and so forth and so on, right? It's like when you sign like an NDA and someone telling you about their wonderful startup idea. But before they tell you about it or show you their ideas or their plans, you have to go and sign the NDA. Like, I will never talk about it. Most labs, they kind of have that same sort of thing. Like, they have the public things that they'll go and share up to a certain point, and mainly they only do that because they want to generate interest in what they do, and they also want to go and leave it open in case anybody wants to fund. But the fact that CERN has said they've actually discovered magic, I kind of think that they said that because they know they obviously have successfully created black holes, I would say. And I mean, I guess I could do a reading on it, but just from what I know. I say they have created successfully black holes, and well, I don't think they can plug them up. I think they successfully created black holes, and I think the work that they've done to date in the actual fabric of the reality that we have been interacting with has been torn, and has been torn to such an extent that it's obvious. And I think it's going to become more increasingly obvious. And that's why CERN released a statement saying, we discovered magic, because they could have said from the get-go, we're a bunch of scientists, and we want to harness, we want to realize, we want to bring up magic. So most likely, and that's another reason why I say check out that other live that was done, the live on fires, spirits, and pedophilia, because there's been reports in the fire of black and white things above the flames. And there's videos of them. You can go and check them out. Check out, like do a search, black and white entities in the flames above the Palisade fires. And apparently the same black and white things are in the fire and destruction in Gaza, and I think some other area that's escaping my mind. But those are, something is having, something is dancing in there. And that just brings back, I think, something to think about with CERN. And then, as I said, a research endeavor. When, again, labs across the board, typically, yes, they have some things they share, but they keep a lot quiet. Right? That's why also, too, you're there investing, because you want to have knowledge on how their research is going and things like that. But otherwise, they're quiet. You only know this amount and that's it. But for them to say they actually discovered magic, they probably made a tear. They made an irreversible tear. And some freak things are probably going to be happening that are completely different from what we've have experienced. And that's why CERN has said, CERN of all things, CERN, that's like, in my opinion, I think CERN is actually a lot more legitimate and concrete than NASA, for instance. Like NASA has already become like a bureaucracy. And of course, if there's any scientists I'm welcome for, we can leave a comment about what you think of it. And I also think about it too, like, and this is one like little pet peeve that I have about scientists, and I'm going to share this story. There's a lady, she's passed. I'd almost dig up her name, like pause it and get her name, but I forgot. But you can find her out pretty easily just by these facts. She was the first female physicist at Columbia University. I think she was a physicist. She could have been the first female Chinese, like she was East Asian in some way. I think she was Chinese. Physicist. And apparently in the things that are written about her, she made a whole big thing about how she had to fight racism, she had to fight genderism, blah, 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 to be like the first female whatever at Columbia. And then she was given her own research lab. And I met a guy who took over her lab. And he was talking about how the tools that she used, like her lab apparently after she passed, had never been used by anyone else. So I don't know exactly, like she passed away, I think, long enough ago. And I don't think that guy was that old. Like he was a recent enough graduate. The fact that he got tenure and, he was like basically one of the new sprouts that were going to be, he's probably still at Columbia. probably still in the physics department. I doubt he's going anywhere because he was talking about the renovations that he's there. And basically, when you get tenure and you're in a, academic department, unless someone like really throws out the money, like they don't leave. They could leave, but they need to be thrown out the money and then wooed with like, the ideal setup and blah, blah, blah. But, this guy was like, I made it to Columbia, right? I made it to being a professor at Columbia. Anyway, her lab was, she did something, I kind of forget now what she did, but she did explore things like, again, taking large things and breaking them down to the smallest parts. But the way that she did it and the tools that she used basically were washed with radiation. I didn't say this about her, but the reason why she passed away was because she basically radiated herself. She was in that lab for 40 years. And they're like, oh, she died early if you read her like wiki page. Yeah, she died earlier because no one says this, she died of cancer. She radiated her organs. And when this guy took over her lab for, that's been empty for X amount of years, he was saying about how horrified he was when he did a radiation count of like how well things were being protected by radiation. And that woman was just, steadfast and just creating new advances. And again, like, I guess solidifying her whole thing of like, being a smart woman, a smart minority woman, blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares about whatever? That, she was basically killing herself every day that she worked. And I think with science, it's something that you need to think about. Like that mentality when they do things, like when they're there going, oh, this is, I don't know, may or may not harm you or whatever. Think about that Columbia professor. As I said, she was, I believe, the first East Asian female professor that they had there in the physics department at Columbia. You use those keywords to find who she was. And that woman, she radiated herself the moment she got into the university till the day she died. And you think about CERN opening up all those black holes. They don't know what they're doing. She didn't know that she was radiating herself. She thought she was protected as much as the standards were at the time that she was doing her research. Well, something to think about. And you could also check out, I tried to remember who the guy was that took over her lab. I'm trying to remember if he was like a white guy or if he was a Spanish guy. He graduated from Cornell. So you can use that to go and figure out who he was. And as I said, he's younger. But he told a story basically about how he took over her lab and found out like, there was like definitely, you do like one experiment in there and you're basically given a speed ticket with cancer. He said he was horrified at the radiation numbers and how poorly that lab was to do any sort of safe, and that's to the standards of a couple years ago, safe to the standards of a couple years ago, not really safe, but to do safe research. I mean, that's wild. And then, as I said, they don't talk about like, oh, she passed away because of, she killed herself. No, they're like, she just passed away. She did these accomplishments, blah, blah, blah. They think about that with CERN and the fact that they acknowledged and they announced that they've discovered magic. And the fact they use that broad term of magic. What's magic to them? Is magic to them the same magic to you? We can take a pretty sure guess that their magic is definitely extraordinary things, right? Also, things that don't make logical sense. One would say science is all about making logical sense, but as I mentioned with that woman, and I think if you take a look at general physics research projects in general, I don't really think the projects around physics specifically are things that logically make sense. That's probably why so many people are interested in physics. And likewise, if you look at some of the physicists, some of the well-known physicists, if you dig a little bit into their background, if you read a little bit about what they've written, like the Hallmark ones, right? They have quite a deep interest in the so-called esoteric, in the so-called occult, in the so-called unseen. They're not there like there's a potato, which I do have potatoes. I have a bunch of potatoes. They're not there like there's a potato and a potato is a potato and a potato is all OB. They're like, this is a potato. What kind of aura is around the potato? Blah, blah. If I think happy thoughts to the potato, what will I do? If I think negative thoughts towards the potato? Anyway, yeah, I do recommend you guys check out those things if you're interested and think about. Maybe I will do a reading on that. What exactly does the CERN announcement mean? I'm not going to do it right now, though. I'll do it as a separate one. But yes, if anybody has any readings, if you have any questions about a reading, let me know. But that is something that I've been thinking about with them saying, oh, we discovered magic. And I do want to share, as I said, that story of, to me, she's just like the quintessential scientist. And of course, you can say that we are all sort of not leading the healthiest environments. I'm here with my laptop. I'm here with my phone. I do have Wi-Fi on in my air. Nobody knows the long-term effects of that. Whereas we have wireless communication with 5G infrastructure. We have all the chemicals in the air, and those chemicals go into the ground. We have previous manufacturing plants that have like the Teflon plants, for instance, right? Anyway, something to think about. Yes, if you guys want something, think about it.
Yeah, I would say that physicists, among all the scientists, are the most like artists and musicians. They really have nothing really concrete as other ones do. Physicists are very, very strange people. I mean, I would say they're just like artists, except they're colder. They're more pragmatic, but they're still just like they just paint with or make music with space or atoms. It's weird. They're weird people. They're weird. Very weird. Strange people. Interesting. Interesting, but they have this own particular dogma. That's why when you see like entities and things like that, you know, strange happenings and re-engineered spacecraft, you can imagine who's doing this. You can imagine who is doing all this. In fact, on that note, let's have another cleansing. You know, I was just looking at a plug. You know, you see a socket in the wall, and you know, you see the two openings, and then you know, you put the socket, and then there's usually a third. And I can almost imagine when you're talking about spirits that they could, like, you know, just pop up anywhere. Kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of weird. But especially when you're alone in the mountains in the cold of the winter, it's just strange, 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 strange. There's so much the world of the unseen and the world of the seen. It's very, very, it's a turn on in a way. It's a turn on because it's fascinating. I mean, there's so many probabilities and improbabilities. It's countless, countless. And then it gets me too when they want to have like, you know, AI and machines telling, this is what humans do. It's like, oh, please. I mean, they should not just put us all down in one, you know, it's almost like washing vegetables or something. I mean, that's not us. That's not us. We're much more complex. In fact, I think they were so complex and so fascinating, us humans, that they constantly try to say we're not complex, we're simple, we're this, we're that, we're this, we're that, just because it's easier. We have to be careful though, we have to be careful not to get like, you know, mind controlled. Mind control. And I think that's what societies, governments do. They try to keep their people in line. Mind control. I can control your thoughts. That's probably it's pretty scary. Trying to have everybody do the same thing at the same time. That's one thing when they're trying to go to the metaverse. You know, the digitalization of everything. Everything. You know, extended reality, having a digital twin, all these types of things. And then you wonder, you know, I don't feel like doing all that. That's like why? Why? Something to do? No, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. I want to understand where we come from, and what we do, and who are we really? Who are we really? What are we really? It's amazing. Just before we don't even really know that who we are, who we really are. I mean, that in earnest. But they're trying to put us in little boxes. Not even little boxes anymore. Little bits, 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 bits. It's interesting. Interesting. If anyone would like a reading, just like, you know, I'm here. That's one thing I always felt when I was, growing, as a child. What kind of box did I want to be in? What kind of, what was I? Stardust? Just a little grubby thing that got dirty when I played too hard? Or just what was I? And then I would look at teachers and they would look at me very sternly. And a few of them would push me in certain directions. And no matter if I felt awkward or not, they still would push me. And that was strange. Trying to like be good and then be wild and be crazy and be quiet. And that's the same thing what happens. I mean, that zest we have is, when we were little, we always have that zest. We always have that zip. Except when we're no longer little kids, little children, we see what is the reason for do this, What is the reason? And it seems as though they really don't want you to think too much. They. Who's they? The controllers or something, some entity. Who controls the earth? That's a good question, isn't it? That's a good question. Who controls the earth? Who do you think? Do you think it's a human? Or do you think it's a... Have they always been pushing for one world government? I mean, after World War I and II, the League of Nations, right? One world government. I mean, the Roman Empire was one world government. China, the Chinese trying to unite all their tribes, one world government, take over the world. Everybody wants to take control. The UN, same thing. But, I mean, it's all the Greek Empire, the Greek states, one. Ethiopia, I'm sure Ethiopia was the first Christian country. I'm sure they had putting all their colonies together. And then if you can't organize someone according to code, this is the way you do it, the military code, the dress code, this code, then you would think of religious codes, right? Religious codes. This is how you honor the gods. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. And we still have that too, the code. And then the fact that we even have, tech. Tech, there's always been tech. I mean, how could they make all these beautiful buildings of the past with such precision? I mean, they didn't have universities that, even in the 1800s, the 1700s, fabulous architecture. You go around to some of the old buildings, the old churches, the old courthouses, beautiful. And the sound when you speak it, then your voice goes zong, in and out. So I mean, they really paid attention a lot to sound. Makes you wonder. It's a good feeling. It's you feel differently in those places, and those tall doorways. I mean, a lot of people speculate that we used to be a race of giants, tall. And then with that, our future, that we get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's up for grabs, isn't it? Up for grabs. Thank you. Yes, it's all amazing. It's all amazing. I mean, that's why. How can you spend your life looking at a headset, like a Meta, like Facebook, those headsets? What do you call virtual reality headsets? When there's so much that you can look at the trees, you can look at the butterflies, you can look at the hummingbirds, you can just look at the ruins, the ancient ruins of the past, the architecture, the statues. I just marvel, like, how did these things, how were they made? And then they want to, like, leave my mind alone, you want to say to these controllers who want to, let me have your biometrics, let me have you this, let me have you that. Why? Why can't I be free like a and soar through the air. And they say, yes, you can. Yes, you can if you only put this headset on your head to monitor my brain waves. My brain waves, when maybe, what are they using our frequencies, our energies for? That's amazing. Yeah. I think that space aliens, extraterrestrials, of course, they don't travel with their bodies everywhere. I mean, right now, if we wanted to go to some distant planet, it would take us thousands of years. However, they come from different planets. They've solved this in just a matter of minutes. You know, the portals. I mean, that's what a portal is. That's what a black hole is. That's what they are. And that's probably what they're trying to figure out. Like, you know, like these gates. They even say, like, you know, like this is just a rough sketch, but a gate. This is like a gate on an asteroid. Now, you know that they say the Iraqi war was about, they had certain gates. And certain people, they do study these ancient civilizations just because of what the extras have left behind. Sometimes a lot of different races of beings have lived here and taken off, like the what was the Astenagi? No, sorry, I'm not saying it right. The Anunnaki. Yes, the Anunnakis. They have split, but they're coming back. And you know, time for them is just a second. I mean, 100 years can go by over here in our time, but for entities that travel through these gates, it could just be a matter of like hours, minutes. So it's all rather so much to comprehend. And I think we waste too much time trying to stall for time, keeping our society on a certain kind of, slow ticket to nowhere. I mean, one thing I really think of when you have, like you said, you have a democracy in the many Western countries, but they keep so much hidden from everyone. Everyone, tell me. And you thirst for knowledge, you thirst for the truth, and yet they don't want to tell you why. But you know something, when an entities come forth, these gates, they're not looking to speak to PMs, prime ministers. They're not looking to speak to presidents, ministers, kings, queens. No, they're they're speaking to a frequency level that you or I emanate. Because you resound to them. They can, the sound of you. Not the sound of arrogance, but the sound of seeking, searching. Those are interesting. I mean, the frequency of like, I want to know. I'm curious. And I hear you. So there's so many fascinating. It's hard to even sleep when you think about all the fascinating things that are happening. And how certain things, fractions, keep trying to like bog us down. But as long as we keep searching, we keep like calmness, first of all, calmness. And then we keep like thinking about what's really, the cosmic thoughts. And I guess if you ever wonder about what the cosmic thoughts are, you just go outside at night and look up. And see, wow, look at all these stars. Look at all these twinkling things. Look at these things that are moving. Spooky. You know, when you think about, you listen, when you go outside at night, you can hear sounds, the rustles of the leaves. Like sometimes I wonder if a bear or something is going to be outside, or, because you never know. some creature, and there probably are creatures outside. And then what you look for at night is the red eyes. The red eyes are a reflection of eyes that are staring back at you. And I do, of course, a flashlight helps to get the red eyes. You can see. And sometimes I do I wear it on top of my head, so my hands are free. But sometimes too, I get like I'm not going to exactly go exploring at night, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Do you go exploring at night? In a safe place. I mean, within reason. Sometimes even your backyard can be an exploration at night, of course. In a city, it's hard to go exploring at night. You have to be careful. You have to look left, right, up, down. I haven't lived in a city for, well, a couple years. A couple years. A couple of years. Sometimes things on an esoteric level get so in the city. They're doing a lot of things in the city, depending on the city of where it is, but they have a lot of things in the sky, which now everybody sees it. But they also they flash lights, strange lights. And you have to go and they don't talk about things in the city too that are abnormal. They don't talk about it. They try to hush it up. In fact, this time with the drones is the first time they're really speaking about what happens all the time. Not all the time to this degree, but sporadically. Like even you take like Washington D.C. I think I read something 1953. The Capitol, the White House, the Capitol building. There was a dozen or more saucers, high, beaming saucers, giving light, good size. Look it up too. It's like 1953 and the flying saucers over the Capitol building. And they were just perched there and they stood there. I just found that fascinating. And they still have no explanation other than saying stupid things like this is nighttime, it happened, right? Balloons. It's not balloons. I think these things really affect our love life and our career moves too. When we see things like that, things like that. It's like when you love someone, you want them to explain, like, what is that? Sweetie, honey, what is that up in the sky? And when you're trying to explain it, even you're trying to, I mean, in earnest, you're trying to, well, that's a flying saucer. That is something that's a magical event. That's a good sign that we're going to get that. I'm going to get that job, but you're going to get that job. What can you say? Right? What can you say? What can you say? But it could be a good omen. It could. However, I still would like to have an explanation that makes any sense about some of these things. What if, it's just like the spirit energy is saying that you're going to get that job. And we're going to show you certain signs that you're going to get that job. You're going to get that appointment. You're going to get that luck. That's what magic is all about, isn't it? That's what magic is. I wonder if 2025 can be so full of magic that you can just scoop your hand in there and grab it. Because I like to scoop my hands and find some lotto numbers or, Mega Million numbers. That's what I would like. If anyone would like a reading, I'm here. For a little while longer. just marveling about how magical everything is. Light is magic, energy is magic. Talking to you this tonight is magic, or this early this morning is magic. Maybe they're going to, like, how they're always changing words around. Maybe they're going to extend the idea of magic. Magic. And out of this magic, how do we get what we want? How do we get the love that we want? How do we get the career that we want? How do we get what we want? That's the question. Now, if anybody has any desire to find out their particular personal love or want, feel free to ask the question. I would really want to see peace everywhere myself. I would adore societies that just guaranteed peace and stop acting, negatively. Wouldn't that be the biggest gift of all? The biggest wish of all? That's when you know your society, your race, like your Homo sapiens, are truly advanced, and we're really like headed in the right path. If we can stop the wars, stop the petty stuff, that would really be truly a gift. Truly a gift. And you know what too? It's like there's new energies in the atmosphere. There really is. And the point is to get rid of to harness the good stuff, to make the energies. I mean, energy is clay in a way, clay, and to make it, shape it, to suck in the good energy, and even to tell energy it has a choice. It has a choice. It could either, I only will accept the good energy, the good feelings, and cast away the unreasonable darkness. Unreasonable. And there's lots of people that come at you because, people have all disorganized, are anxious, they're disorganized, they're this, they're that. And especially people that like in the box people. In the box. They can't go anywhere if it's not in their box. That's difficult. And a lot of people feel confident knowing, it's 2 feet in one direction, 2 feet in another direction, like that. They have their confined space. And if they hang out too far, like, we're supposed to feel this way. This is what we people do, stuff like that. And that's like so, besides being cliches, it's so limiting. So limiting. Suffocating, I guess is the word. Suffocating. And that's what we have to fight against. The main thing in any society you live in is not to get suffocated by someone's words. There has to be an openness, has to, breathe in, breathe out. And realize too that people are playing with fire. Many are. Because we are they say, like, a lot of people say that this is the end times. I don't believe this is the beginning. The end of something is always the beginning of something else. And then it's the breathing and the active mobility, fluctuations. That's where you have to watch your step, the fluctuations. It's almost like when the earth is quaking, right? Like an earthquake. You can't just stand still. You have to move with it. You have to put your foot on steady surface. Do you know what they discovered? Did you notice that the scientists have revealed that under the ocean, they have found another continent that they did not know existed prior. Not only are there Atlantis and Mu, and some other ones, another one, I forget the name of it right now, but there's also more land masses, and they found structures, habitation structures on these land masses, that they were able to take an X-ray of, highly advanced X-rays of the oceans. So, I mean, how many layers are we? How many civilizations? How many? It's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. The real motive for things. I mean, and you got to one thing about prophecies, people prophesize. It's almost like they're giving you a warning, but it could also be a direction. Go another direction. Go another direction. Like a one-way, two-way, stuff like that. I mean, there's lots of flexibility in things. Main thing is to keep learning and keep reading, keep comprehending, and keep an eye open. Keep an eye open, and also the beauty of what you can see. Seek the beauty, and the beauty will seek you. Seek weakness, and the weakness will seek you. And you become the beauty, you become the weakness as time goes on. You are what you seek. You are what you seek. And to look at all the influences, like when you listen to a song on the radio, listen to what the words say, not just the beat. Sound is powerful, but the words have a way of hypnotizing us. The words have a way of controlling our actions. So it's peculiar. It's like, then you have yourself under in the box, and there's no reason to be in a box. I mean, you can make roots down. That's not the same thing as a box. A box is a predictable way of behavior. That's why when you take, admission forms to a hospital, to a class, a lot of times they ask you, different boxes to check off. And you know who you are. Even if you are not honest about who you are, you still deep inside, you know who you are. You're just informing others so they can act accordingly to the boxes you check out. Like if someone asked her, let's see. Well, there's many different ways. Like you could say, I live in Alaska, but I am, let's say this. You say, where do you live in the tropics? Yes. And they ask you, what is your, let's say, race? You say, I'm an Inuit. Which is an Arctic, Alaskan indigenous. And then you around and where did you go to school? You can put, I went to school in Beijing. Switch it. Then it's you make person, wow, and then you can go. But where did you get your more education? I went to school in London. Oh, and where did you do your internship? Did my internship in Indonesia. See, you get the idea? You're switching around geographically, making yourself a lot of variables and getting out of that box. Of course, you can all be like storytelling too. You can say it's research for a story that you want to write, or it's research for a poem. It's all valid. It's all valid. Research is research. I haven't written a poem in a long time, actually. But if anybody would like me to make a poetic reading, let me know. So, my beautiful people, my beautiful listeners, if we can just spread our love around, right? If we can just spread love and happiness, almost sounds like a dream, but why can't we? Why can't we live the dream? Why can't we live the dream? Some dogmas say you can't make heaven on earth. Now, that's kind of that's a weird thing to say, but you could certainly make hell on earth. Right? Yes. Well, maybe we're finished for the night. Maybe we're finished. If no one is here and nobody wants it, any readings, I think maybe I'll tie it up. I'll close it down. I'll close it down. All right, I'm going to close it down. So thank you very much, beautiful people, for your time and your energy. And it was a pleasure. Pleasure to share. Share our energy and our destinies, our futures, our tomorrows, our todays. It's really wonderful to reach out and touch each other's auras, touch the ether of the entirety. It is wonderful. So goodbye.